You know, out of all the stand users that attacked Jotaro and the others that ended up killed or defeated, I think this baby got it worse. Seriously, Kakyoin. The fuck? Review of Jojo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders episode 20, the conclusion of the Death 13 two-parter. I really hope that you guys were not eating while watching this episode, because there's something that happens near the end where you won't feel so good when you see it, I'm just saying. Now in this episode, Kakyoin, since he was the only one that knew this baby was a stand user, tries to convince Jotaro, Joseph, and Polnareff that this baby was not normal, that it was a stand user. But before that, we actually get to learn how many days has it been since they left Tokyo. It's been 4 weeks, which is approximately 28 days. Out of the 50 days that they have to get to Cairo, they have about 22 days left, which I'm pretty sure they will make it. But then again, we know that once they get to Egypt, the stakes are raised. The name of the baby happens to be Mannish Boy, which was revealed on the stat card of Death 13. Now there was a situation that Mannish Boy was nearly revealed to be the stand user when this scorpion was about to sting Mannish Boy, but he uses a safety pin to stab the scorpion and kill it. Unfortunately for him, Kakyoin saw this and he was absolutely sure that this baby was not normal and it was the stand user. He tries to point this out to Polnareff and Joseph, who was making baby food for Mannish Boy, and Polnareff was eating the baby food. You gotta love Polnareff. Which, by the way, Mannish Boy was really pissed that Polnareff was eating his food. But when he mentioned about the scorpion in the baby's basket, Joseph tries to see where the scorpion is, but it wasn't there in the baby's basket. But Kakyoin was definitely sure that he saw Mannish Boy kill that scorpion, so he figured that the baby hid the scorpion in his clothes, maybe. Unfortunately, he wasn't helping his situation when he was acting a bit, what's the word? Frustrated? Yeah, I'm gonna say frustrated. I mean, he tries to roughly grab the baby to see if the scorpion was in his clothes, but Joseph had to like take him away. He assumed that he was still tired after the stress he was going through by getting constantly attacked by stand users, and figured that they will talk to him once he starts to calm down. And I thought for sure that Jotaro would have noticed that something was off. I mean, he was the one that knew that Enya was not a regular old lady. I mean, you'd think Jotaro would notice that something off was definitely going on with Kakyoin, and it's got something to do with this baby. I thought he would actually be the one to trust Kakyoin, but no, Kakyoin was on his own in this one. So the only way to show proof that Mannish Boy was not normal was to show them the message that was carved on his arm, which was baby stand. Unfortunately, it turns out I was right on my previous review that they believed it was some type of self-harming. And of course, we got Joseph's usual, "Oh my god!" But instead, he said it seriously, like, "Oh my god." Okay, it was kind of funny, but I really did feel bad for Kakyoin because they did not believe him. In fact, Polnareff was definitely convinced that Kakyoin was not going to be able to continue on their trip. Unfortunately, Kakyoin was not helping his situation even further, as he decides to reduce to force by summoning Hyphen Green to attack the baby. But they were stopped by Silver Chariot and Polnareff as they knock both Kakyoin and Hyphen Green unconscious. Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that was gonna happen. I was really hoping that at least one of them would believe Kakyoin, but yeah, I really can't help but feel bad for Kakyoin. I mean, he was telling the truth, but they didn't believe him, which is a shame, really. By the way, as for the scorpion, Mannish Boy hid it in his mouth. Ew. They all fall asleep, and Polnareff, Jotaro, and Joseph end up in Death 13's dream world. And this really does confirm my theory that when you return back into Death 13's dream world, you remember what happened in the previous times you visited the dream world, as Polnareff then recalled what happened in the previous episode, the last time he went into this dream world, and he warns Jotaro and Joseph about this dream world and that this is the work of an enemy stand, and that sadly Kakyoin was telling the truth. Okay, for a minute there I really thought that Joseph was gonna act like Polnareff in the previous episode, thinking, oh, it's a dream, I guess we can relax. Now Polnareff understands why Kakyoin was frustrated in the previous episode. Unfortunately, since they're in the dream world, they cannot summon their stands to defend himself against Death 13. But since Polnareff realized that Kakyoin was in the dream world before them, they had to go and find him, since he was the one that knocked him out. Then Joseph and Jotaro noticed something odd about his hair. His hairdo just grew, and then his hair starts to unravel and gets Polnareff tied between these two poles. Yeah, keep in mind, people, Death 13's dream world, anything can happen. And it's not just Polnareff too. Jotaro's chain on his jacket starts to like wrap around his neck and starts to strangle him. And then Joseph's artificial hand starts to grow and gets bigger, bursting out from his glove, and then slams onto the ground, keeping like Joseph from moving. And of course we get, holy shit! And I love it when he yells and swears like that, it's funny. Now, we don't get a lot of nightmare fuel from the previous episode, but we still get some creepy stuff that actually comes off as pretty funny. When the mailbox and the flowers start laughing, and then Death 13 appears right before them, approaching them, about to attack. Now, Jotaro tries to summon Star Platinum. Star Platinum appeared, which was kind of weird, and I was gonna call bullcrap on that because we know that you can summon your stands inside the dream world, but Star Platinum then starts to beat up Jotaro, which was kind of weird, but it turns out that this was a fake created by Death 13. Yes, this thing can even create fake stands. Now, it doesn't really come off as creepy, it actually comes off as hilarious, especially when Star Platinum then starts like laughing while he summons this like pan and starts slamming it multiple times on his face. Each time, by the way, he makes like a funny face. Going, ora, ora. It was kind of funny. Mannish Boy, even though he does call himself a genius, he is a child at heart as he like messes with the group, especially with Jotaro summoning the fake stands. In fact, the fake then turned into like a Silver Chariot Star Platinum hybrid, as like one half was Silver Chariot, the other half was Star Platinum. However, Death 13 revealed that there was a way to fight this stand, and that is if they summoned their stands before they fell asleep. If they had their stands while they were awake and then fell asleep while their stand was activated in the real world, then they would have been able to call upon their stands in the dream world. Which got me thinking that Kakyoin had his stand activated before he passed out. So I assumed that maybe Kakyoin would have been able to use Hierophant Green in the dream world, which I was proven right, as Hierophant Green appears right behind Death 13. And of course I'm mocking him with the loophole catchphrase. And Death 13 assumed that this was a fake, but no, it starts to choke his neck. And yeah, Kakyoin then makes his like grand entrance in one of the teacups, which I thought was pretty cool, but I was like wondering like, where was Kakyoin all this time? I mean, would it have been like hilarious if he was like inside the teacup this whole time? Like, I bet he was like hiding inside the teacup, like waiting to like make the grand entrance. Or better yet, I bet he was like thinking, I'll give him a couple more minutes, then I'll show up and help them. That'll teach you not to trust me. That would have been hilarious if that was actually the case, but that would mean that Kakyoin has a kind of a sadistic side to him. Actually, I believe he kind of does in a way, considering what happens later on, but we'll get to that later. Now, apparently before Kakyoin passed out and entered the dream world, he had Hierophant Green hide underground before he fell asleep, which was how he was able to summon Hierophant Green inside the dream world. Sa, oshioki no jikan da yo, baby. Which means, now it's time for your punishment, baby. Now, knowing that Kakyoin was right all along, Jotaro, Joseph, and Polnareff do apologize to him for not believing in him sooner, but Kakyoin was understandable, saying that it couldn't have been helped. But he also thanks Polnareff because, in a way, if he didn't hit him, he wouldn't have been able to figure out how to summon his stand into the dream world. And Polnareff was like being all like bashful and it starts to blush. I thought that was kind of cute. But Mannish Boy said that even though Kakyoin was holding back, it was going to lead to his downfall. So he manipulates all the clouds to combine into this one big cloud, which takes the shape of an arm, takes the scythe from Death 13, and then slashes both Hierophant Green and Death 13. Death 13 had no bottom half. His entire body was just hollow. It was just arms, a head, and a scythe. Okay, that actually does make more sense because I thought that was kind of messed up that Mannish Boy was going to kill himself along with Kakyoin. It looked like that he was cut in half, but no, it was just a trick, and it was revealed that Hierophant Green just unraveled the bottom half of his body, and the tendril then starts to enter into Death 13's ear. This is actually one of Hierophant Green's abilities that we've seen back in episode 2, but we've never seen Hierophant Green ever use this ability ever again, which I'm kind of glad we get to see him use it again, even if it is for the second time. And we actually get to see how Hierophant Green enters into Death 13's body. I mean, we didn't see how that happened with the nurse back in episode 2, but then again, I mean, would you really want to know how he entered the nurse's body? Ugh. It then unravels its arms into the tendrils and enters into, I guess, any opening that Death 13 has to enter its body. And while that was going on, we actually get to see the green bodily fluids to make the emerald splash actually spew out from the arms and also the bottom half of the body. We actually get to see its head like poking out of his mouth. It was actually controlling his arm to move the blade of the scythe close to its neck. Kakyoin was basically threatening Death 13 to surrender, which of course Mannish Boy does. Kakyoin then orders him to heal the wound on his arm. It's now morning. Kakyoin was actually the first to wake up, make everyone breakfast, wake everyone up. Unfortunately, Polnareff, Jotaro, and Joseph did not remember what happened in the dream world, but Kakyoin did, because apparently if you have your stand activated before you go to sleep, and you have your stand inside the dream world, and when you wake up, you still have the memories of what happened in the dream world. I guess it does make sense, considering that stands are a manifestation of one's spiritual energy, or mental energy, whichever you want to call it. So I'll buy it. Now, Polnareff does remember what happened last night, but Kakyoin acted like it never happened. In fact, he was being nice to the baby. So I'm guessing Polnareff and the rest of the group just realized that they just dreamt it and that Kakyoin was now back to normal or something. I don't know. I was kind of bummed out that they didn't remember because I really wanted them to like realize that Kakyoin was right, but yeah, what are you gonna do? So what is Kakyoin gonna do with Mannish Boy? Well, since he is a baby, he's not gonna hurt him. They're gonna take him to a nearby town, get him back to his mother, wherever the hell his mother is. But he does warn him to never come near them ever again. Otherwise, he will be punished. How is he gonna be punished? Well, unfortunately, we had to see the poop and the baby's penis again when Kakyoin was changing his diaper. Kakyoin takes the spoon, scoops up a piece of the baby's poop, puts it in the baby's food, stirs it up, and he was gonna feed Mannish Boy his own poop. Okay, well technically it wasn't Kakyoin that did it, it was actually Joseph who tries to feed Mannish Boy, but he was trying to like keep his mouth away from the spoon, and so Polnareff tickles him, which I thought was kind of funny and kind of cute. The baby starts laughing, then the food goes into his mouth, and he swallows it. This was worse than when Enya was forcing Polnareff to lick the toilet bowl clean, and that was disgusting. This was even more disgusting, and it was a baby that eats the poo-poo. Yeah, remember that YouTube clip, Eat the Poo-Poo? That's what this totally reminds me of. Oh, God. Okay, I know he's another one of Dio's minions. I know that he was attacking them, but to go as far as to force feeding him poop? Seriously, Kakyoin, what the hell, man? But the conclusion actually does end in a pretty funny way as like Kakyoin then faces the camera, then says, Jean, Jean. And then Jotaro at the distance was like, huh, what? I thought it was kind of funny, a funny way to end the episode, but no, actually it's not over. As we get to see the group on this boat, apparently they made it halfway through Saudi Arabia and they're crossing the Red Sea. I don't know how that happened, but it did. They didn't really show it. Joseph was actually making a stop at this island, and he says that they're going to meet someone important for their journey. Who is this person? Well, we don't know because that is where the episode ends. So that was episode 20 of Stardust Crusaders. Overall, I thought this was a pretty enjoyable episode. It was pretty good. There wasn't a lot of nightmare fuel compared to like the previous episode, but there was some pretty creepy stuff there, but it came off as more funny than creepy. And as for Mannish Boy himself, well, he does call himself a genius, but he's still a child at heart, as we've seen him messing with these guys. Not to mention, he does come off as a bit full of himself in a way. He does praise himself as a genius, calling them idiots. But in the manga, he actually realizes to never underestimate these guys, especially adults, ever again. Not only that, but there was actually one scene in the manga that they didn't add in the anime, and it was Mannish Boy actually taking one of Jotaro's cigarettes and smoking. You know, it's understandable why they wouldn't show that scene, because this was a baby smoking. Like, as for a character for Mannish Boy, honestly, he kind of comes off as okay as a character. He's not my favorite out of the stand users, but I did like his stand. But once again, this is another one of the minions of the week, and that's what he does come off as. Animation, once again, was good as always, and for some reason, Kakyoin with white hair, it looks pretty good on him, I'm not gonna lie. And the voice acting was, again, really good. Again, I gotta give kudos to Ikue Otani. I think she did a really good job of voicing Death 13 and Mannish Boy. And of course, the music, once again, was good as always. For some reason, there was techno music playing when the Scorpion was approaching Mannish Boy. I didn't get that, but I thought the scene was pretty neat either way. This episode actually made me like Kakyoin and Hyphen Green even more. Seeing himself in this tight spot and managing to pull through in the end, it just made me like him a lot more. So I gotta give kudos to Kakyoin. So yeah, overall this was a pretty good episode. I thought it was a decent conclusion to the Death 13 two-parter. It wasn't as creepy as like from the previous episode. It came off more as funny and more what the hell. Although the poop scene was kind of disgusting, but I still liked the episode overall despite all that. Now, in next week's episode is going to be another Polnareff-centered episode, which is great because more character development, more Polnareff, and I really do like that. And this is going to feature another stand called Judgment, which is a genie that can grant you 3 wishes. From what has been shown in the preview, we see this one mysterious person that looks an awful lot like Avdol, but with gray hair. I don't know what's up with that. He could be like a relative of Avdol for all we know. And it seems that Polnareff is still guilty over what happened with Avdol back in episode 10. At the end of the preview, he said, "Can you resurrect the dead?" So it seems that he is going to ask Judgment to bring back Avdol to life. I don't know if stands can actually resurrect the dead, but considering what we've seen so far, I wouldn't put myself past it. There's obviously going to be some crazy ass stand abilities out there. But I am looking forward to next week's episode. I think it's going to be really great. So if you want to check out the episode yourself, it is out on Crunchyroll. I'll leave a link in the description down below. And tell me guys, what are your thoughts on this episode? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What are your thoughts overall with Death 13 and Mannish Boy? And what are your thoughts on Kakyoin and Hyphen Green? Did this episode make you like him even more? And what did you think of the eat the poo-poo scene? Like, what the fuck, man? But yeah, I'm starting to like Kakyoin more, but I do question about him and babies now. Seriously, what the hell? So yeah, like the video if you like it, subscribe to more videos, and be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+. So yeah, that is Jojo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders episode 20. I'm Mannish Boy 27, and I will see you guys later. Bye.